Well, welcome back to Retro Adventures. Today is the day. I'm starting out on my KATY Trail biking adventure. So you might say, well, what are you doing in a garage if you're starting out on this adventure? Well, I only live about 3 miles from the KATY Trail. That's where I'm going to link up with it and start heading west. Now, I know most people start in Clinton and travel toward St. Charles, but I'm doing it a little bit different because of many reasons. I won't get into all of that. Also, on this first day, it's going to be kind of an abbreviated day. It's only about 25 miles. I'm starting about noon. The reason I'm starting that late is because I had some things to take care of before I went. So let me show you the bike and how it's set up. Well, here's the setup for this trip. If you followed my last journey on the Rock Island Trail, you can see I have quite a few more things packed. I tried to pack as light as possible, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. Comment below, do you think I have packed too many things here? I don't know what my weight is here. I think probably about 50 pounds of material. Also, if you watched that last video, you know I had a flat tire about 15 miles from my end goal, and I have since then had the bike shop put some Defiance armor in these tires. Am I prepared for another flat? I would say probably not. I'm hoping that the Defiance will alleviate any possibility of flats. If I do have a flat along the way, I'm going to have to seek some help from a bike shop. So I made it down to the trail, and this is the parking lot. This is at the end of Pittman Hill Road. And here's the trail heading west. The next place that I'll get to is Defiance. Not a trailhead, but that'll be the next town that way. And going that way, that's east. Green Bottom trailhead is to be the next trailhead, and then after that is St. Charles. I've ridden that many, many times. So that's why I'm skipping it right now for this journey. And I passed another milestone coming here, 600 miles on the e-bike so far. And like I said before, it's about 3 miles from my house to this location. I did use up about 5% of my battery life, but I don't have to worry about it today because I'm only going about 25 miles. It will be interesting to see how quickly the battery is used up, because of everything I have weighted on here. Plus, I feel like I've done a couple of rides and I feel like the Defiance armor might be slowing down and having me use a little bit more power than I would without it. So we'll see. It's all a learning curve right now. And here we go. Here's the second mile marker I have encountered on this journey. The first one, mile marker 49, was the first. And as you can see, the clouds are kind of increasing here. But the trail is very lush, very beautiful. We've had a lot of rain. That's why I delayed this trip a couple of weeks. And I will probably have to dodge some raindrops and drive through some rain this week. But I couldn't hold off any longer because it is heating up. Yesterday it got to a heat index here of 98 degrees. So I thought if I'm going to do this trip, I've got to do it. The Parks Department has done a great job cleaning off the KATY Trail from the recent storms that we've had. I know some trees fell over. There was a lot of debris on it at one time, and they've done a really good job of sweeping it clean. If you're coming from St. Louis, you can hit the trail right here by accessing the Monarch Chesterfield Levee Trail. Right there is where you access the trail to go up to Highway 94. I did a previous video riding a loop on that trail and hitting the KATY Trail right here, so I'm very familiar with this part of the KATY Trail. You can really hear the cicadas now. Many of you probably already know this, but the KATY Trail runs adjacent to the Missouri River for several miles of it. And of course that means the Lewis and Clark expedition would have camped along many of the spots right along the Missouri River where the KATY Trail was put in the 1990s. Here we are at the Weldon Spring Trailhead, the first trailhead I'm getting to today, but not the first town. Weldon Spring, the town, is pretty far from here. So I'm going to keep going another 3 miles and I will get to Defiance. So just a really beautiful section right through here, Weldon Spring. Most people say the most beautiful section is around the Roachport area, and I think that's probably true. But if there's a close second, I think it's the Weldon Spring area. And there's the Hamburg Trail. Again, in one of my videos, I showed you how to do a loop on the Hamburg Trail, as well as the KATY Trail, and one other trail, but I can't think of the name right now. And here's our first bridge crossing at the Fim Osage Creek. Daniel Boone and his family lived very close to this area, right on that creek, farther up. I am now coming into Defiance, not an official trailhead, but the first town that I'm going to encounter. There is a little campground over here called Beyond the Trail Campground, and my wife and I, we camped here with our camper just a couple of weeks ago to de-winterize. Stayed here for a couple of nights. Right here is the Good News Brewing. It's closed today because it is on a Monday. Now back to that campground. They do have primitive sites there, but no electricity. If you have an e-bike, you may not be able to charge. I did notice some outlets right next to the restroom, but I'm not giving you permission to do that. You would want to contact the owners to see if they'd allow you to do that. They also have a tiny home that people can rent out. I don't know how much that is, but I'm sure there's electricity there that you could easily charge your e-bike if you were going on a journey down the KATY Trail like I'm doing. I thought I might eat my lunch here today, but that is closed, that area, for renovation. That general store is open on most days, but not on Monday or Tuesday. That's something you really have to think about when you're planning a KATY Trail trip, because on Monday and Tuesday, a lot of places are shut down. So I believe I will ride on to Augusta and eat there at the trailhead. I'm not starving or anything. It is a little bit afternoon. It'll be a late lunch, but that's okay. Highway 94 runs adjacent here for quite a while. And here's a little work of art somebody did. This is the parking area for Klondike Park, again, right on the Missouri River. And there's one of the newer additions to tourism here. Miss Augusta, you can take a little cruise on the Missouri. All right, so here's my lunch stop in Augusta. This is next to a place that used to be a bike shop, but I understand that it's shut down. There's no plans on opening it back up. Like I said, if you come on a Monday, you have to really do your research and see what places are open if that's your plan on eating somewhere. I've found that Mondays and Tuesdays, a lot of places are shut down. So before I came, I grabbed a Subway sandwich so I could have that for my lunch. Earlier, I said I was riding about 25 miles today. I was a little bit off. I'm going about 35 miles instead. I've gone about 21 of those miles right now. And my battery life, I still have 65% left, which is pretty good considering everything I have on that bike right now. And here's the fine town of Augusta, Missouri. A lot of bed and breakfast here to stay, a couple of wineries. But my goal is to get a little farther today. Here we are at Nona. Just a one house town now. Probably one time used to be a railroad stop where in the early trains they would put water in the engines possibly. And there's the old grain elevator. Here comes the little ATV farmer working today. Next trailhead is Defiance. Here we are. Like the deli and restaurant is closed on Mondays here in Defiance. Again, check bikekatytrail.com for all the places. Next trailhead will be Marthasville, which was my destination for the night. So I'm about 4 miles from my destination, and the time right now is not even 3 o'clock. If I had the battery, I would certainly ride farther on. However, I really want to stay in Tebbets tomorrow night to be my one place to stay indoors. Now you might say, well, why not just stop at Marthasville and charge up? It's 53.5 miles to Tebbets, and it would probably take at least 4 or 5 hours to charge these batteries up fully. That is the disadvantage of an e-bike. So I am probably just going to stick with my plan, get to Marthasville early, relax, bought some reading material, and this will be one of my shorter days. And here's the next truss railroad bridge, Took Creek. Took, I believe, is the French word for hat, but it might be spelled differently, and that may not be the right toque. I don't speak French, so I don't know. Bonjour. Here we made it to Marthasville. Check out the pavilion. Oh, there's already somebody camping out. Wessel Park.